Hello everyone, welcome to Grow and Know, the garden at Royal Oaks and Orchard. Today we're going to be learning how to make hydroponics with a low budget and little time. So let's get started. First, we're going to use this bottle here. This is a 4.5 gallon cheap water bottle that you can get almost anywhere. And first, we're going to drill a hole here so we can get a jigsaw through. Okay, so that's the starter hole. You can use a jigsaw, reciprocating saw, a hacksaw, or even like a knife or a hot rod. Like heat up a rod and kind of slice through the plastic. Okay, so here's how it looks after sanding and cutting. Now we need to put in a net cup. You can put in a net cup or any kind of porous cup, or you could even take a solo cup and put a hole in it. Anything works as long as it has holes for roots to go through. So now we're going to put in our cup. Boom. Okay, so now we need to make our master blend solution. Master blend solution consists of 3 different parts. The master blend solution itself, Epsom salt, and calcium nitrate. So for 1 gallon of water, you're going to need 2 grams of master blend, 1 gram of Epsom salt, and 2 grams of calcium nitrate. If you harvest rainwater, you can use it as long as it's around 6.5. When we tested our rainwater pH level, it was about 6.5. For the master blend solution, you're going to need about a 7, a neutral. Most of the time though, rainwater is between 5 to 6. So just make sure that you have, like, a distilled water could also work. So just make sure that if you're going to use your rainwater, that it is around 7. Okay, so after turning the scale on, you want to get your first ingredient, which is master blend. And before you put your master blend on your scale, put on a little tray. Like, this is just a milk can lid. And make sure that you tear out the weight on your scale. After putting the lid on, click tear or 0 so that it resets to 0. Then put on some master blend solution and measure it to see if it's 2 grams. If it's close enough, like 1.9 or 2.1, it should be okay. But if it's above that or below that, then you should accordingly take off or put in some more solution. Then do the same for the rest. Okay? So after you get your 2 grams, put them into your jug or can or whatever you're going to be using to mix up your master blend solution. We use a milk jug because we find it most convenient and it's easier to shake. Because after putting in your ingredients, you need to give it a good shake. So definitely close the lid, make sure it's tight, and you want to shake it, not like that. Okay, so I have mine shaked up here. So do you all remember this? Well, if you do, good, because now we're going to need to pour in our master blend solution. So there's some in there, but I need to pour some more, so that's why I made this master blend here. Okay, so what we're actually going to be putting in this hydroponic setup is a cherry tomato. This is a Mexico-made cherry tomato that we propagated from a sucker, which I'll hopefully do another video on how to propagate tomatoes. It's actually fairly simple. Okay, so before you put the tomato in there, you need to have some rock wool here. Rock wool is a volcanic rock that's been kind of spindled, almost like candy, cotton candy. And it's so squishy, and not squishy, it's so soft that you can break it with your fingers. And you want to kind of break it so you can put the plant inside. So here I've broken it and I kind of made a little crack in it so I can slide my sucker inside to make a nice snug fit. And you just want to clamp it around and make sure the roots stick out. And it's okay if some roots don't stick out. Just make sure the mass of your roots are sticking out. Okay, so I have my tomato ready, And now it's time to put it into the net cup. So you just want to put it in here, but this net cup is actually a little too small. It's not big enough for the roots. Well, it's big enough, but the roots can't fit through. So what I did here is I cut out the bottom, and I left these little grooves here so the rock wool would stay in. Okay, and after putting it in, you want to make sure your rock wool's wet. I forgot to show you that earlier, but you can wet it right now. And then gently put your roots in. They really don't like to be handled because their roots, and they're very delicate, so just slowly put it in there, like that. And make sure that your plant is pretty straight. Now we're going to be putting in some pebbles. You can also use like hydroponic pebbles or like clay pebbles made specifically for hydroponic purposes, but we're just using some river rocks. Put them in slowly, a few at a time, because you don't want to startle your plant. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting them in slowly. Just maybe 3 or 4 at a time. Okay, so here it is, and don't forget to wrap some black cover around it. And as you see here, it's actually not that big. It's only about as big as our watering can. I'll let you know how it is in a series of updates, hopefully. And the total time for this project was only about 15 minutes, which is kind of unbelievable. This is Grow Now, reminding you to grow young and grow old. Thanks for watching.